Hey there, I'm Natalie France and welcome back to my YouTube channel, a space completely dedicated to cultivating self-love through the practice of yoga. Today's session is very much a slow down, wind down session, so it's a bit more of a slow flow, encouraging you to take a bit more time out for yourself and to slow down on your journey of self-love. So I'll explain a bit more about that in just a few moments. Like I said, today's session is going to be very much a slow flow, encouraging you to slow down, take some more time out for yourself. You're going to start here in your easy pose into your cross-legged position. Okay, once you come into that nice seated position, lift out your hips, no sinking, lift out your hips and lengthen through the spine, shoulders back and down, rest the palms of your hands onto your knees, onto your thighs, and then close off the eyes. Starting by bringing the awareness to your breathing and to your natural breath. First of all, so connecting to that normal everyday flow of breathing for you. The only significant change I would ask you to make is to aim to inhale and exhale in and out of the nose. So you have that real sense of creating internal heat from within as you connect to your natural breath. You connect to natural breathing. Have this sense of lengthening through your spine to allow you to lift up nice and tall as you remain seated on those inhales. On your exhales, think about releasing any tension from the shoulders, from the hips. So as you sit in this easy pose, sometimes the hips can feel tight, especially when it's the first thing you're starting off with in your yoga practice. So inhale to find length through the back body, but as you exhale, make sure the shoulders come away from the ears and find a sense of being a bit more open into the hips as you breathe out to release. And really encouraging this sense of winding down and slowing down as you remain here. And after your next exhale, bring in a bit more focus to your breath. So now inhaling in for counts of 4, exhaling out for counts of 5. And all you're asked to do right now is to let the mind focus on the breathing. So allow the breath to be the only focus as you inhale for 4 and exhale for 5. And the breathing itself will help things to slow down internally. You have this sense of the heart rate slowing down. When you connect to your breathing, it also sometimes helps to lower blood pressure as well. So this internalization of slowing down, as well as this mental realization of slowing down, and taking a bit of time out for yourself as you remain here. While still thinking about growing tall as you lengthen on the inhales. And then the shoulders to release and the hips to open as you exhale. And then after the next exhale, starting to reconnect once more back to your natural breathing. So take it back to that normal pace and flow of breath. And you might even notice that your natural breathing could be a little bit slower than when you were connected to it a moment ago before doing the inhales of 4 and 5. That might have now encouraged your breathing to slow down naturally as you remain here for a moment. And after the next exhale, starting to flick open your eyes. From here, taking your left hand down to the ground, to inhale the right hand up and over into that side stretch. So lengthening through the side body, that lateral flexion of the spine. Make sure both seated bones stay pressed onto the ground, specifically really the right side as well. Might want to lift up, so keep it pressed down. Right palm faces down, keep rolling the right shoulder back rather than coming forwards. And feel free to look up to the ceiling if that's okay for your neck, or look down to the ground if you prefer to hold it here. So we're getting that side body stretch. And then let's inhale, come back to center. Take your right hand onto your left knee, take your left hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen once more, exhale into that twist. So look over your left shoulder. Keep the shoulders down as you hold it here. Inhale, come back to center, change sides. Now your right hand will come down. Inhale, left hand up and over into that side stretch. Lengthening through to fingertips. Option to look down to the ground or look up to the ceiling as you hold it here. It's that lateral flexion of the spine, that nice side body stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Look over your right shoulder as you hold it there in that twist, but keep lifting up. Sitting nice and tall, shoulders down. Inhale to come back to center. Rolling up onto your knees, and then for a moment, bring yourself into a child's pose. So toes together, knees either side of the mat. Sit back into your heels, arms nice and long. Reach those fingers away from you. Keep the elbows off the ground. Sinking down into your hips as you sit back into your heels. Again, finding that release into the hips you hold here just for a moment and breathing into it. Keeping the elbows lifted so it's more of an active child's pose and finding that stretch in your arms, shoulders. On your next inhale, start to bring yourself forward. Keep your legs in the same position, just bring your weight forward. So now you press your hips down towards the ground, shoulders back and down as you come here. Exhale, come back into your child's pose. It's like a variation of cat-cow, to be honest. Inhale, bring it forward, chest open, shoulders back, slight arch to the back, then inhale, exhale, sit back onto your heels into child's pose. So you inhale to come forward, and you exhale to bring it back. Just bring a bit more movement into the body now. Feel free to go a little bit quick, not too quick, but just pick up the pace a little bit as you move through this variation of your cat-cow. Sit onto the heels and coming forwards. Okay, and the next time you come into your child's pose, stay in your child's pose once more. Hold it here. Release down to your heels. Sink into those hips once more. Keep those elbows nice and lifted. Then on your next inhale, start to bring yourself back up onto your knees. And you're actually going to slide your right knee now behind your right wrist. Lengthen back into your left leg for your pigeon stretch. So bring the forearms, the arms down to the ground, and then rest your hands to your arms, keeping your weight centered. So if you find that you have a natural gap between your right seated bone, your right bum cheek practically on the ground, that's absolutely fine. If you have a block close by or a cushion, you can slide it underneath to have that kind of rested on it. But if not, keep it lifted. Do not roll onto the actual side. Just keep yourself centered for your body weight and hold here. So again, it opens you out to the hip, but it's a nice stretch for your right glutes as you hold in your pigeon pose. And breathe into it, deep inhales and exhales. And even though we're focused on slowing down today, and a lot of what we've just done so far has been very much kind of lengthening and opening and releasing, you can still have a sense of building strength here too. So bring your hands back onto the ground, fingers nice and widely spread, toes your left foot, lift the left knee off the ground. As you lift the left knee off the ground, draw your navel up to have that core engagement into your spine. Then bring the right knee off the ground and hold it here, keeping the weight forward, very micro bending the elbows. So we want to slow down, we want to have this sense of reconnecting and slowing down, but we can still build strength. There's strength in slowing down as well. It helps you to just have a sense of self once more. So lift that knee up nice and high. Take one more inhale. Exhale, step back to your high plank. So you should already be pretty much in that position as you take the right foot back. Take a deep inhale in. As you exhale, release your knees. Release your toes out behind you for a modified Chaturanga Dandasana. Hug the elbows in as you lower all the way down. Come all the way down to the ground. So let the chest come down to the ground as well. Lift on the inhale. Lift your chest, shoulders back. Just for a cobra as opposed to an upward facing dog. But keep squeezing the elbows in. On your next exhale, take it back to your child's pose. So toes together, knees either side of the mat, sit back into your heels, lengthen your arms out, so keep the elbows lifted. Going back through that variation of your child's pose to kind of like a cow pose as well. So you come forwards with the hips, chest open, shoulders back. Exhale, sit back into the heels. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, take it back. So repeat this a few more times. No need to go too fast, but take it at your own pace as you work through this. Again, we're taking this slow flow to remind you to slow down. Sometimes, even when you're really connected to your journey of self-love, you can sometimes just be going a little bit too quick in terms of like just doing everything quickly and forgetting to take time. So self-love can affect you in different ways. You can be really focused on yourself and really prioritising yourself, but still be taking it, too much. I know I've been doing that recently, so I've really needed to slow down. Sometimes I need to just take a bit more time for myself. Hence the inspiration for today's class. Then come back to another child's pose. Hold it here for a moment. Keep the elbows lifted. Then start to bring yourself back up into your knees. And this time you're sliding that left knee behind the left wrist. Lengthening back the right leg into a pigeon once more. Resting the arms down. Rest your head into your arms. Again, if you have that natural gap like I have, you can see it here this time. Then just keep lifted, okay? If you've got a block or cushion, go underneath, just put it underneath. Rather than kind of sit onto it, keep your weight centered. And rest your forehead down into your arms as you hold it here. And again, just enjoying this moment of taking a little bit of a slower practice, as opposed to like a normal vinyasa or power vinyasa that I might put on this channel for you. And reminding the mind to slow down, the body to slow down. And sometimes it's just nice to have this time to not rush, not worry, not overthink or be too in to something. It's great to have passions. I most certainly have a lot of passions, but sometimes I need to kind of just rein it back in and remind myself I've got a passion, I'm doing it, but I want some time for me and I want to slow down and just enjoy the present. Bringing yourself back up into your hands, fingers nice and widely spread. Tuck the toes to the right foot and lift the right knee. Lift up into your core as well, and then lift that left knee off the ground. Find that moment of strength here. Strengthen your practice. Micro bending the elbows. Hold it here. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, step those left toes back into your high plank. Modify Chaturanga Dandasana once more. Take an inhale into a pear. As you exhale, release the knees, release the toes, come all the way down. Squeeze those elbows in. Engage your core to lower down, nice and controlled. Then inhale, lift your chest, shoulders back, flat cobra. As you exhale, this time come up into your knees for an extended puppy stretch instead. So knees are hip distance apart and knees remain directly underneath your hips. As you walk your hands out in front and rest your forehead down to the ground. Again, keep the elbows lifted as you hold here. This is a nice one to kind of gain a sense of focus, also having a sense of releasing. So when you carry a lot as well, carry a lot of weight on your shoulders, this is a nice one to kind of release from the shoulders too. Feel free to lift the palms of the hands and keep the fingertips, the pads of the fingertips pressed down to gain a deeper stretch into your shoulders as you release and let go. And if the palms lift as you exhale, start to peel the palms of the hands back down to the mat and walk your hands back in towards you. From here, bring yourself into a seated position. So take the left leg out in front, but keep the sole of the right foot against your left leg for your Janu Shasana. So you inhale, raise those hands above the head. As you exhale, slight rotation to your left and start to reach forward, but keeping your spine straight so that your hands fall in and actually place onto your shin, possibly. So no rounding the back of the shoulders to get the body close to the legs. That's not the aim here, and this is where slowing down is really beneficial. Think more technique and length. Lengthen through your spine, shoulders back, chest open. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. Internally rotate that left leg in towards the midline. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. Within your yoga practice, you also need to find a sense of slowing down, not trying to rush to what you think is the goal opposed to come to here. This is not how the pose looks. There's no rounding of the shoulders at the back. The chest is open, shoulders back. You find the length for your spine. You inhale, lengthen, exhale, forward fold. In time, when you learn to slow down and practice the breathing to help you get into the actual pose, in time the hands will go behind the foot. But for now, take them onto the shin. You're best off being here with the technique rather than rushing. So inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. So even within the yoga practice, you need to find times and moments to slow down, to actually focus on where the body ought to be to get to the end goal, rather than what you perceive it to be and then cutting corners to get to the end goal. So inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. You can have a slight tuck of the chin to the chest, inhale, lengthen, exhale, forward fold. It's a good stretch for the hamstrings on the left side. You get the hip open on the right side as you keep going here. And after your next exhale, start to bring yourself back up once more. From here, take your right foot to cross over your left leg. You're welcome to keep your left leg straight, that's your preference, or feel free to bring a bend into your left knee. Take your right hand behind you, heel the hand behind you. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, elbow comes to the outside of the knee and then lift to your right shoulder. Inhale to go nice and tall for the spine. Exhale as you twist. Inhale and lengthening. Exhale and twisting. And always twisting on the exhale. So always allowing your breath to help navigate you into the hardest part of the position. On your next inhale, start to bring yourself back to centre. Keep legs as they are. Take your counter twist over to your left side. And inhale to bring yourself back to centre once more. Uncross, swing your right foot behind. Tuck the toes of the right foot, hands come to lap, step back into your high plank. Take a deep inhale in. As you exhale, release down through full or modified Chaturanga. So pick your choice here. Inhale up to a cobra or an upward facing dog this time. Feel free to tuck the knees down or up in your upward facing dog. Then exhale, press back to a child's pose once more. So toes together, knees other side of the mat. Lift the elbows as you hold it here. Starting to walk your hands back in towards you, and then sit onto the right to swing, one side, sit onto your left to swing your right leg out in front. Now your right leg is nice and straight, and the sole of your left foot goes against your right thigh. Inhale, raise your hands up, slight twist rotation to the right side. As you exhale, again, keep the back nice and straight, let the hands forward in, naturally place in position, chest open, shoulders back. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. Internally rotates, the right leg internally rotates inwards. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, forward folding. Right foot's nice and flexed, so you feel deeper stretch in the hamstrings. Again, less of this and more of this. Inhale to lengthen, so connect that breath, lengthen for the spine. Exhale to forward fold. Slight tuck of the chin, very slight tuck of the chin to the chest as you inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. So again, in that stretch now on the right side of the leg and having it get going in the left side. On your next inhale, start to bring yourself all the way back up out of the pose. You're welcome to keep the right leg straight if you'd like to, otherwise cross your left foot over your right leg. Should have done that first. You're welcome to keep the right leg straight, or maybe bend into your left knee. See, my mind's all over the place, I really need to slow down. Take your left hand behind you, inhale the right hand up, exhale draw the elbow to the outs of the knee and lift your left shoulder. Inhale to lengthen, exhale on a twist. Inhale to go tall, exhale twisting. Always twist on the exhales, taking that twist into the thoracic spine, onto the spine as a whole. So you inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. And let's inhale, start to come back to centre, keep the legs as they are. Take your counter twist over to the right side as you hold it here for a moment. Inhale, come back to centre. So take that left leg behind first, tuck the toes of the left foot, bring your hands into the mat, then step back into your high plank position. Press away from the ground, holding the plank this time, so press away from the ground, fingers nice and widely spread, very micro bent in the elbows so you're not hyperextended. Lift up into your core, press the heels back. If you need to modify, have the knees down, but keep your weight forward. So take your gaze forwards rather than looking down, look more to the front of the mat. Take an inhale in, exhale, Chaturanga, modified or full version as you lower down. Inhale up to your cobra or upward facing dog, modified or full version. Exhale, press back to your child's pose. Once more, toes together, knees either side of the mat, release those arms out in front of you and rest into your child's pose. Keep the elbows lifted as you hold it here once more and breathe into that. And starting to walk the hands back in towards you here. Bringing yourself now to sit onto the mat and sit somewhere in the middle or towards the front. Inhale, raise the hands up, palms face in towards one another, tuck the chin to chest. Exhale, start to slowly lower yourself down to the ground. So one part of your back wants to touch the mat at a time until your head eventually comes down to the ground to meet you. Once there, hug your knees into your chest. Take a gentle rock from side to side, massaging it back onto the mat. And bringing yourself back to a sense of being nice and still into a happy baby pose. So lift your legs into a nice kind of bent tabletop position. Open the hips out. Bring the arms inside the legs, and then once the arms come in, just navigate your hands, your fingers, to then go to the outer part of your feet as you hold here. You're welcome to find stillness here, so you kind of start to push the knees or press the knees in towards you, or feel free to take a gentle up from side to side once more, massaging the back onto the mat. Then bringing yourself back to stillness. Start to bring the legs back in towards one another. Keep a bend in your knees. Cross your right knee over your left knee so the legs cross at the knees. Take your hands out either side of your either into a T shape or a cactus shape. Allow the legs to fall to your left so your head turns to your right into that supine twist. Close off the eyes. Take a moment to breathe into the right side of the body. Let's exhale, let the knees pass back through centre, uncross the knees and left knee crosses over the right knee. As you exhale once more, let the knees fall to the right. This time let your head turn to the left side, close the eyes, breathe into the left side of the body. And then bringing yourself back to centre, opting for a modified shoulder stand for today. So the whole of your back will stay on the ground. Lengthen the legs up to the ceiling. Flex the feet. Feel free to take the hands behind the thighs if you need to. Otherwise, keep the palms of the hands resting down to the ground as you hold it here. Just take a moment to close up the eyes and connect to your breathing once more. Deep inhales in for the nose, exhaling out for the nose to release. Then start slowly bring your knees back into your chest. Take a gentle rock from side to side. And then bringing yourself into your final resting pose into Shavasana. So one leg either side of the mat. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. Close off the eyes once more. Allowing yourself to release into this pose. So bring it back to this sense of slowing down and winding down and letting the body right now surrender to the mat. Having that sense of the back of the head firmly settled into your mat here. The shoulders, backs of the shoulders and the arms releasing into the ground. That rippling sensation from your upper back, lower back to mid back. Firmly grounding down into place. Your glutes, your hamstrings anchoring down, the backs of the knees, the calves, the heels. Everything having a sense of releasing and letting go and holding stillness in your Shavasana in this space. Then starting to bring some gentle movement back into the body, wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes. Taking a full body stretch, you can interlace your fingers, press the palms of the hands away from the head point all the way down to your toes. So then hug your knees into your chest. Take a gentle up from side to side once more until you eventually roll onto your right side. Take a moment to pause once you roll into your right side before bringing yourself up to a cross-legged position, facing back towards myself. And closing off the eyes once you're there. Feeling free to rest the palms of the hands onto the knees or thighs or hands to press heart centre, whichever one you find the most appropriate for today. Think lengthening through the spine, so lift out the hips, grow tall, shoulders down, a very slight tuck of the chin to chest. Thanking yourself for taking time to slow down and practice yoga with me today. Now I'm always very grateful for you joining me on the mat too. Take one more final deep inhale in through the nose. Deep exhale out through the mouth to release. And then you can open your eyes as you slowly lift the gaze. So thank you so much for joining me on today's session. A different kind of pace, nice slow down one, chill down yoga flow, but it's always nice to slow down and to remind yourself to slow down as well. If you like this particular video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channels so you get notified each time I release a new video, and hit that bell as well so you actually get notified when I release a new video. But make sure you subscribe so you always know that I'm going to be around at some point in your week for a new yoga session. Until the next time, please do enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again really soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.